This podcast is sponsored by Anchor, your one-stop shop for all your podcasting needs.
Any song that's playing at any given time, I should try my best to enjoy it because it's like a moment in time that I'm not going to get back. The more that you play in your own town, the less people want to come see you. If you do it out of love, then that's a currency that can't be replicated by money. Yeah, like there's a 10-story slide. And like for me, that was like, I remember I was like, we have to go to the City Museum. We have to go to the City Museum. Damn, that's such a good question.
Welcome to the WithATwist Podcast, all about sharing stories of the successful industry. It's also a traveling podcast, meaning that every single episode is in a different location. Tonight, we are on the top of a parking garage in downtown Greensboro. And today, I have my special guest, Brody Rogers.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Not much. Right now I play in a couple different bands. I play bass and charm now. I play kind of like a little bit of everything when necessary in Diva Sweetly, and then bass and guitar in Pictures of Vernon, and then I kind of write my own music and do my own thing on the side too. But yeah, it definitely keeps me busy.
You also build guitars.
Yeah, I just started doing that. That's crazy. It's been going cool, but I'm still trying to get used to everything and figuring out how everything's done, because I don't have the machinery and time that I would need to actually pursue that as like a career. It's more just for fun.
Just a hobby.
Yeah, just for fun and kind of see how much I'm capable of, that kind of thing. But yeah.
So how did you, going way back, how did you get into music?
I was thinking about this today, and I was actually about to call my mom and be like, hey mom, what got me into music? Because she would know better than I would. I guess it was just a natural thing. My great-grandpa on my dad's side, his name was Dimpy Pearson, and he played the clarinet, and he was also just like a tinker with shit and would always mess around with things and collected all these different vacuum tubes and stuff like that for old stereos. But yeah, he was always in big bands, so if it's genetic, that's definitely where it came from. And then when I was born, nobody in my family really played music. I think my mom may have known a little bit of the piano, but I remember I got my first acoustic guitar when I was probably, 5 or 6, but I didn't start taking guitar seriously until I was in 7th or 8th grade. And that's when I made friends with a couple guys that were older than I was, and they were in a band, and it just seemed like a whole different world, like a totally new thing. And I had so much energy at that point in my life that I was just, for some reason, I hyper focused on it more than anything else, because I was so bad at sports, bad.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy thinking back on it. My dad was super athletic, super great at sports growing up, and so part of me has always felt bad that I never kind of lived up to that for him. But he was the one that actually taught me the first couple of chords on guitar when he learned the first couple of chords, and then I just surpassed him in a couple of months, and he just stopped playing. He doesn't play as much anymore, but he'll play every now and then. But yeah. And it was just those couple of guys when I was in middle school that really got me hooked on it. And then moving up here, because I lived in Richmond before I lived in Greensboro.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
Richmond, Virginia?
Yeah, I've been there.
And that just like happened when I was coming into my freshman year of high school. And that change, I guess, I was like, I want to establish myself as something different when I move, you know? I was like,
Yeah, you were making
I want to be something
different impressions.
Yeah. I want to be an individual, I guess you could say.
Best version of yourself.
Yeah. Which I feel like most kids at that age are also having the same thought, just wanting to somehow be the best that you can be, but at the same time not overdoing it.
Yeah.
Which is tough. But yeah, when I moved here, I feel like I went to a Weaver talent show.
Yeah.
And I saw No Reception, because they played the Weaver Academy talent show, and Daniel Gorham was in that band as well as Matt Brotherton, and so Daniel's still in Diva Sweetly and Pictures of Vernon.
Yeah.
And Matt was in Pictures of Vernon for an extended period of time, and who else was in No Reception? I think it was like Zach Mega, Ryan Slack, and Arron Young. And they kind of, when I saw that, I was like, what? How are they like our age, but like they're so synchronized, and they're actually like writing their own songs and doing the thing, and their energy and everything. And a few months after that, we all met organically and formed a couple of weird bands. There was a weird time period, you know, like an awkward stage. Yeah. That kind of forced me, Anderson, and Daniel and Alex Kitching into Pictures of Vernon. And we were all just like, okay, we want to do something different. And so we kind of started that band. And yeah, I guess that's kind of how I met and started out playing with all of them. But yeah, it's been a nice long run up until now, and just kind of blessed that we've had the opportunities that we have had. You know, it's crazy.
So I guess, like, why do you perform? Like, what does it do for you?
That's tough, because I have trouble performing solo, actually. Like, I'm not the most self-confident when it comes to just me alone on a stage, you know. But every time I do, I feel so much relief after. But for like the weeks coming up to it, I'm like nervous as hell, trying to practice as much as I can, which is making me more nervous, you know. But I guess I do it for the love of it, you know. Yeah. I love being with my friends, and honestly with them, with Pictures of Vernon and Diva Sweetly and all those cats, and even Charm now, like it's so crazy. We can just play the instruments and we don't even have to talk. It's like a language of its own, you know. We just kind of get there, there's a couple words, and then we start practicing, and it's like as soon as you play that first note, like synchronized together, it's like, oh, this is why we do this, you know. Or at least that's how I've always felt about it. I've always loved the communal aspect of it. It's a team thing, but at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to be an individual.
If you had like one day where like you had no plans, or like it was just like nothing got in your way, you Just one day, what would that day look like?
Damn, that's such a good question. Wow. Oh. See, that's hard because I have those days when I'm not working and I'm like, damn, do I sleep all day? And it's almost like my head's just going back and forth between, do I spend this day relaxing or do I just like hang out with friends or make something? Usually on my like days where I'm not working, I try to use my hands because when I do that, it gets my brain thinking. But if I don't have anything I'm working on, then I'll try to like start something and then I'll end up starting 50,000 different things, and all of a sudden I'm just like halfway through the day starting to clean up all my messes to get back to square one. But yeah, I guess if I had the means to go anywhere and like the money to kind of do what I wanted to do on that day, it would probably mean like I drive up to the mountains and see all my friends in the mountains and then come back. But yeah, the mountains are beautiful, especially this time of year. It's just about to be fall. I've been thinking about it recently going up there, but do you ever go up to the mountains?
Yeah, I went to North Carolina. I went up to like the Valley Cruises area.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice up there. Is that near Blowing Rock?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's all sort of in that area. Like, we went to Linville Falls.
Okay, cool.
That was one of the places I went to. So.
Yeah. Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, I like Blowing Rock a lot. All those waterfalls up there. Cool.
Yeah, okay. So how'd you get into making guitars?
That happened actually kind of organically with the couple of guys that I knew in middle school. His name was Grant Richardson. Grant, if you're watching this, give me a call. Yeah, he would always just take his guitars apart, and like he was always coming up on a new guitar, like just a cheap pawn shop guitar or whatever, and he would take it apart, put it back together just to see how it operated and stuff. Him kind of taking them, and then he would add these little buttons on them that you get from Radio Shack, and it would like kill the sound, and then you take your finger off and it would like the sound would be there again, so you could it was like a second way of playing the guitar. And I remember one day he came over and it was like a 4x4 little block of wood, like a rectangle with just a neck on it, like a guitar neck, and he had built just this block. It was like a square looking guitar, just the weirdest looking thing that he had built, and it worked. And it was an electric guitar too, and I just remember thinking like, that is so sick. Like, he just built that guitar. Like, how does that work? He did a lot for me, just super great guitar player. I think he sails a sailboat like 24/7 out of like every day of the year type of situation. Yeah. So I haven't seen him in years and years, but I owe a lot of my guitar playing ability and just overall interest in friendship and music to him. He definitely did a lot of that for me.
How do you find success, like getting gigs and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it still kind of confuses and baffles me the way like our generation and this generation of musicians has like used the internet for such good, because it was literally all through like Facebook DIY communities and stuff like that, like just Facebook groups and going to local shows and seeing other bands playing, and then you get hooked up with them, and then you start, as cheesy as it sounds, and like I'm sure that everybody would probably say this, but like the more that you make friends with those people, the more that you'll play with those people and stuff like that. And I guess that's the same with everything in life, you know. It's just like meeting people and stuff, but even then, I don't know how everything for us panned out the way that it did, because it still blows my mind that Pictures of Vernon is on that split with like Mom Jeans. Have you ever listened to that one? It's
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they're like, Mom Jeans is like blowing up right now.
I hadn't seen it recently.
Okay, yeah, they're like, but Pictures of Vernon hasn't been active for like a year, and we're just starting to play shows and stuff again, but it's just, it's crazy to me that we're on that split with Mom Jeans, and they're just like, our name's forever attached to that band, and I feel like super in debt to them forever for that, you know, because I know they're doing everything that they possibly can.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm pretty sure that just happened because like it was us and P Daddy and Mom Jeans, and we were all just like kind of friends at the time. But yeah, when it first started out playing, it was a little bit more difficult to find shows, just because the more that you play in your own town, the less people want to come see you. And I don't think that's like totally makes sense to everybody, but it's like, if you think about it, like there's a movie showing every single night right down the road from you that you really love, and it's like your favorite movie. If you go to that all the time, then it's gonna get old. But if you watch that movie once every 10 years, you know, then it's like, oh shit, this is the best movie, you know. Or it's like, it brings back so much emotion. And so we kind of had thought that going into it from the beginning, that we didn't want to play too much in Greensboro. So I think the first out-of-town show that I ever played in any band was like Luke Giddis's basement in Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And it was so sick. I think he had a roommate or something, or there was somebody there just kept telling me, yeah, this is like a professor's house. And I don't even know if that's true or not, but yeah. And we were so young. I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, and there was so many people there, and I was just like blown away by the fact that like we were playing on that show. But Anderson and Daniel definitely did like so much of the booking and stuff early on. Like there's a lot of that I'm not too familiar with, because I just never really had that much hands-on stuff with that, but I know pretty much that's pretty much my knowledge on that subject. Getting gigs and stuff. Yeah, if you're a starting band and you want to like play out and play in Greensboro and stuff, just start hitting up all the places that you know that host shows, and start asking around. It's a lot easier than you would think to get hooked up with the right people at the right time and that kind of thing. But yeah.
What's the farthest place you've been?
Oh gosh. I guess mileage wise would be somewhere, one of the 3 cities I've been to in Canada, but I can't remember which city in Canada.
Canada. God.
Yeah, we did a tour where it was like up through, I remember we went through a checkpoint, like the border checkpoint into Canada from, I think we went through it in Buffalo, New York, and I was just like, dang, we're in Canada right now. It was sick. We played in Ontario, Toronto, and Montreal. So maybe I don't know which one of those is the farthest north or west.
I've never. I have no idea.
Yeah, it was like those drives where it seemed like it was just one straight road on one flat thing for like 7 or 8 hours, and you'd come up on this like ginormous city, but you'd be 50 miles away and you could see it. So you're just like it's like the Wizard of Oz or something.
Yeah.
You know?
How many tours have you guys been on with their band?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I know Anderson, like, they've kept count of every single like show date and tour and like all that, you know. But I haven't done a very good job of keeping track. So I'm not too sure. I know the first tour, I think the first tour I went on was it may have been, gosh, I don't know why I'm blanking right now. No. Either way, it was somewhere, and we went and did a lot after that first one that I was on, and I think I've been on probably less than I can count on two hands, probably like 6 or 7. But yeah.
Have you been like to California or like any of that, like over
I
there?
haven't. The other guys in POV have, but I haven't gotten a chance to make it out there. They right now actually they had hopped on the tail end of the Prince Daddy and the Hyena tour, because Daniel plays drums in that band also. Yeah. And so they hopped on the tail end of that, and that was in, I remember Anderson was like, yeah, I'm flying to Sacramento like tomorrow. And so yeah, they're out there playing his Pictures of Vernon right now, and I'm pretty sure Anderson might be doing stand-up before every single set too. Yeah, which is cool, like that hour of time before doors and like the show starts. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to make it out to California. The farthest west I've been is Chicago.
Okay.
And that was like this past summer tour with Aaron West, and that was like, going to Chicago was sick. I've always wanted to go there, and I was gonna go in the Sears Tower, you know, and look down from that thing, but God, it was like super expensive and the line was so long, so I just did the reverse and went to the bottom and like looked up instead of paying to go to the top. Oh, she's just taking a selfie.
Oh, I was like,
That's funny. She better look where she's going. She's gonna hit the wall. That is so funny. Yo, people will do anything for a good picture, like a good selfie, you know.
this is a question that like I've always wanted to ask like anyone who does music, but like I don't know, like I felt like it was like the wrong thing to do.
Oh yeah.
But how do you guys make money?
Oh well, yo. See, these are the questions that people want to know, though. Like we work our butts off at our day jobs. That's literally it. It's like we've all got day jobs, and that's where our money comes from. We don't make much money from music. Like it's a labor of love, you know. Like the money isn't great, but if you do it out of love, then that's a currency that can't be replicated by money. You know, some people make very good money from music, and probably will, the ones that are making it will continue to make very good money until they die. But yeah, you just really have to be determined and your day job. Like,
Yeah.
I work at the Fresh Market when I'm not on tour, and it's good that in the back of my head, I know that I'm doing it for my music, and I'm not playing music so that I can work at the Fresh Market. You know, I'm glad that it's the way that it is, but yeah, when we go on tour, we'll get a percentage of the door every night, but at the level that we're at, it's not as much as you would think it is. You know, it pretty much just gets us gas, food, and then a little bit extra to put in like a little, I guess, cushion, you know, after each tour. And so sometimes you'll get paid out at the end of tour, and most of the time you get paid a little something every night, but it's like enough to get some food.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not glamorous or anything. You definitely work a second job, and I'm pretty sure I know people who have experienced a lot of success in music and they still work second jobs just to keep themselves busy, you know, because unless you're like a hired gun, like somebody that tours around all the time in different bands and makes a little bit every night, then it's like you have a lot of time where you're not touring. So, but yeah, I guess touring is where the majority of the money comes from in music, until you get to that point where it's like your music's just being streamed so much that you have a revenue from that, like, monthly.
So what's the coolest place you've been, like, touring, or wherever, just the coolest city you've been to?
Oh, that's another good question too. I like that one. I really actually liked St. Louis. We went to St. Louis, Missouri, and there was this super, super cool place there called the City Museum. And it was like a 10-story building that, it almost looked like this, you know, but except way bigger. And it had windows instead of like just open. But some artist had bought the whole thing out and turned it into this giant, like, adult playground. And all of their art installations were like slides.
Wow.
And like, yeah, like there was a 10-story slide. And like, for me, that was like, I remember I was like, we have to go to the City Museum. We have to go to the City Museum. Yeah, that was so much fun. Like, honestly, one of the greatest days I've ever had touring. And I really like St. Louis. Nashville's cool, but I've only been there for like 2 or 3 like hours. It felt like, you know, besides not playing the show, like I only got 2 or 3 hours to walk around. I like New York a lot. Like, New York is sick. It's so cool up there. Have you ever been to New York?
No.
What's the farthest you've traveled?
West, it's probably Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was there for like 2 days, so I didn't think it's too much. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how touring is. You don't get to like see very much unless you like get up early and stay late, which is like super hard when you're with Diva Sweetly. It's like 6 people in one tiny Honda Odyssey with all of our gear and personal stuff. It's so tough, but like it's worth it.
Do you
in my
usually sleep?
opinion.
Do you usually like sleep or like in the do you sleep in hotels or usually or
No, we mostly stay with people that we know.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like that's the first time I stayed in a motel on tour was this last tour that I went in, and it was a motel, not a hotel. So like a Motel 6.
Yeah.
A $60 room.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's all right, you know. Sometimes the Motel 6 can be nice, like, but I would much rather prefer to stay with people that we know and have developed these like relationships with through touring and stuff, because it just, after a while, you realize that it seriously feels so homely with those people because they're just that generous. And if it wasn't for those people, touring wouldn't be possible. So if you're one of the people that lets people crash in your house when we're on tour and stuff, and you do it for all these bands, like, thank you so much. That seriously means the world to me and so many other artists out there. Like, that's what makes this thing work, like just touring in general and the whole community. It's great. I wish that we got to stay in more hotels, but it's like, it costs so much money to do that. Like, you don't think about it, but it does.
No, I've thought about like traveling and stuff, and I've looked into it, and it's like $100 a night or more.
Yeah. We'll see, like Airbnb. Have you ever checked out that?
Yeah, I was part of like a youth group at one point. So we went to Gatlinburg and got an Airbnb.
Yeah, those are sick.
Yeah.
That's like the coolest idea ever.
Yeah, as long as you got a good amount of people, like, if you got a big group of people, like, back it up.
Yeah.
To make it worth it.
Well, there's some that are like cheaper just for like a room or like a small place. It can be, I've seen some go for like $60 a night. We stayed in one in Austin, Texas, and there was seriously like, it was like us, Greet Death, retirement party. I think Prince Daddy and the Hyenas may have stayed there. Mover Shaker. There was like 5 or 6 bands in this one Airbnb, and it was like, I think 2 bedrooms, and but it, like, that was like, we got so much for our money, and it was just one giant sleepover for like the weekend. Yeah, that was at Fest, if you ever heard of that. Or not Fest, that was South by Southwest.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. It was like, or I guess we played some unofficial sets at South by Southwest, and they got pretty rowdy. There was one that we played for, it was like in this like frat house thing, but like not actually a frat. I still don't know if it was or if it wasn't, but the house itself was a fraternity house, and they had bands in there all day, and I think it was like sponsored by yerba mate, so like everyone was just drinking yerba mate all day, like super caffeinated and dehydrated. By the end of the day I was dying. But yeah, South by Southwest is fun. That and Fest are like what I always look forward to, because everybody that's in these like music communities just comes together for that one like week or so, and you get down to the Gainesville or Austin and everybody's down there. It's like, holy crap. It seems so surreal.
So I guess what kind of music are you into, like, personally?
That's a good question too. I listen to a little bit of everything, honestly. I think I've got like my toes in the water and everything, but lately I've been really feeling like Americana kind of folky influenced country music.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I know he's not really country, but like Barnes Courtney.
Yes, people like that.
Oh, okay.
And gosh, I really like this band called the Felice Brothers.
Oh, okay.
They're cool. And gosh, but I mean, I listen to a little bit of everything. I love like old Tom Petty. Tom Petty is sick. Like the Strokes. Those early albums by the Kings of Leon I've honestly been listening to a lot lately, and they're really, really good. But yeah, I definitely. That's such a hard question. I get it because all I really can think about right now is what I listened to today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I listened to today. I like a lot of the Chicago rappers, like No Name and people like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Sort of the same way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything from like, I don't know, like rap to alternative rock to classic rock to everything in between. Like,
Yes, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's how I am. It doesn't, the way that I think about it, like, I used to, like, not like certain things in music, and then I've realized that wasting my energy on not liking stuff is exactly that. It's like a waste of my energy. And any song that's playing at any given time, I should try my best to enjoy it because it's like a moment in time that I'm not going to get back. And it's a moment in time where there's like music instead of not music.
Yeah.
And I'm like a musician, so I should like try to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, I've sort of noticed that at the show, the shows when obviously you're not playing and someone else is playing, some of the guys might go out back and they might hang out there, but you'll sometimes stay in there and listen to music.
Yeah, sometimes I try my best to like put myself in that person's shoes, you know, because I was there and am still there, and like we're all doing it for the same reason. I think as a member of one of the bands, I should definitely try to catch at least a couple songs from every band that's playing set, but that's, some people don't do that, and I understand exactly why. Like if it wasn't that I didn't, if I feel guilty when I don't, you know, and that like motivates me to want to, because that feeling wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me, I guess, knowing that I should be there. Watching like early bands and stuff like that. I've done that shit for years now.
So is there anything coming up you want to like advertise or plug or whatever?
I guess like check out Charm GSO. The boys in Charm are releasing an album sometime coming up in September. It's called Super Style, and it's so sick. Like,
and you're
I'm
part of it.
Yeah. I'm playing bass for them right now, but I joined after they had all this material written, and I'm like so insanely proud of them. They're doing great things. They're great people.
They'll be on soon.
Yeah. And I definitely am. That's pretty much the one I'm trying to plug right now. And if you're in Asheville, Diva Sweetly is going to be playing Radfest September 15th, and you can come catch us there. That'll be full 6-piece, baby. Yeah. And we'll be doing that thing. That'll be exciting. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for right now.
Okay. Yeah. It's nice talking to you.
Yo, thank you so much, Dylan.
Yes.
This was sick.
It's entertaining and fun.
Oh yeah.
Getting to know you.
Yeah, this was the first time I've done anything like this. I really enjoyed it.